Hey there. So today we're talking about how would our 20s have been different if we had known our strengths instead of fumbling around trying to figure it out on our own. So stay tuned. Two career coaches walking you through the power of knowing your strengths as soon as possible to make more informed, intentional choices about your career. So
Hi there, I'm Micah,
I'm Shannon.
and we are the co-founders and career coaches at Shinebright Career Coaching. And this is our YouTube channel where we share all things about the job search, about job development, and how to find a job that actually fits who you are. So thanks for being here. Feel free to subscribe if you like this, and also leave any comments.
All right. So we spend our days coaching our clients to understand who they are, their unique strengths, so they can make better choices about career paths that are actually going to be a good fit for them, that is going to bring them fulfillment and real authentic success. So we thought we'd make a quick video just talking a little bit about what would have been like if we had known our strengths a lot sooner than we figured them out. So we are going to talk you through a little bit about kind of our experience being career coaches for the last 11 years, and maybe what would have been different if we had figured some of our strengths out a little bit sooner. So stay tuned. All right, so we work with a lot of people who are in their 20s, their 30s, their 40s, and sometimes even their 50s, who are feeling really lost in their career, who are struggling to know who they are and are they good at anything, and is there actually a career out there that would be a good fit for them. And oftentimes they're feeling a little hopeless in terms of figuring that out. And what we do in order to guide our clients towards more career success and happiness is to take them through a process of self-exploration where they identify their strengths, those qualities that are innate to them that allow them to be effective, impactful, and successful, and to use that as a guiding tool to be able to identify career paths that are actually going to be a good fit for them. And so, one of the motivations for Micah and I to actually create the process that we take our clients through is that the two of us spent our 20s kind of fumbling around, trying to figure out who we were, what we were good at. And when we finally figured out or were exposed to the concept of strengths and saw the power and the impact that that knowledge was able to have on our lives and our careers, we were really motivated and excited to share that knowledge with our clients so that they could maybe not waste as much time fumbling and trying to figure out who they were and really battling self-worth or self-esteem, or really questioning themselves or if they could ever find a career that felt fulfilling. So let's talk a little bit about what do you think would have been different for you if you had known your strengths earlier on, maybe in your early 20s?
Yeah, this is something I think about all the time because it really did take me quite a while to find the right career path. And I had all those feelings of not feeling with self-confidence or self-worth, and it all came from this desire to have a place to put my flag in the sand and say, this is my career path and I'm on it and it's a journey and I'm excited. It was a lot of start and stops. And so looking back and through the strengths lens, where I now understand what those aspects of my identity are that help me to be successful and engaged, it's really easy to actually see why I went wrong in so many directions. And that actually was pretty validating as we built our business and I began to understand this concept more and apply it to where I had been. And so, after college, I actually started working in a restaurant as a maitre d', which was a manager. And I had worked in that restaurant actually through college. And they offered me a position at the end of college and said, hey, you're really good at this and we really love how you know all the guests. So stay here with us. And I didn't know where else to go. And so I started, and I quickly learned that, I was really good at that job, but I really didn't like it because it was all about being on your feet, reactive in the moment, and getting to know people, but for a pretty brief time.
Yes.
And so at that time, I decided, you know what? I am somebody who loves to read and learn. I'm going to go back to school and I'm going to get a master's. And I got a master's in German because I had been studying that after living abroad. And I got in there, I thought, I love this. It's knowledge, it's learning. And then I got to know academia. And for me, it felt stuffy and uninviting. And so I said, oh, this is not the career path. I'm going to be a teacher. So I finished that master's and then went and got teaching credentials. And that eventually led me to career coaching, which is amazing because it is a part of teaching. But knowing my strengths, so Shannon and I share this strength called input. We love to learn. We love to gather resources. We love to share them with people. And that was a big part of what really drew me to actually the master's program and the impetus to go on to becoming a professor. But it was only one piece of who I was.
Yes.
And another piece of who I am, I found out through the strengths assessment, is something called woo. I love to contribute enthusiasm, connect with people, and get to know a lot of people in ways where I see connections amongst them. And that was a really good strength to have in a really thriving environment like a busy restaurant. But again, it was only feeding one aspect of my strength. So long story short, the culmination of these experiences showed me how, back in your 20s, you're just fumbling around and you're like, oh, this is interesting to me because it feeds one piece. But what we would love and what we thought we could help people do was get to know every piece of the puzzle. And coaching fulfills, getting to know people and researching and using knowledge and sharing and spreading knowledge and helping people. And that's all the aspects of my strengths. And if I had had that in my 20s, maybe I would have gotten here faster. And how would that have affected my life? Well, we can talk about that later. But that's the point. That's the thing Shannon and I talk about a lot. Knowing yourself is the answer to everything.
Yeah, and I think you brought up such a good point. I think that, a lot of people in their 20s, and I don't think this is a bad thing, are experimenting and they are using one piece of information about who they are, right, or something they're interested in to follow a lead or try something out. But like Micah, talked about, often it's only feeding one part of who you are. And we're complex, right? We're layered. We have these different aspects that make up who we are and what drives us and motivates us and actually feels satisfying to us. And so to be able to understand that whole picture, to be able to understand all of these strengths that make you you, and what that then tells you about environments and roles that would actually be a good fit and feed you on all these different levels, is way more satisfying and way more fulfilling. And for me, I think I was trying a bunch of different things in my 20s and had a lot of ambition and a lot of drive to be successful, but really was feeling like, I don't know if, I know what I'm good at. Am I good at anything? Is there going to be this thing that is like my thing? And was really starting to question that. And I kind of fell into coaching, but kind of like Micah, after falling into it and looking back, I can now see how, for me, I have a strength called Maximizer that's all about continuing to make things better and tapping into potential and continuing to refine and hone. And that's something I'd love to do with my clients because I see them come already good, already have, their strengths within them. And it's about helping them to get to that next level, to refine, to hone, to maximize who they are for success, for happiness, for more fulfillment in their career. I also have something called Developer, which really loves to take kind of like, the seed of potential and help that to grow and flourish. And, so some people come to me already with a good sense of self, but they're looking to up level. And then other people come to us really questioning self-worth and feeling really lost. And so I love to use my Developer to kind of help them to see that seed of potential and walk with them as they're growing that and strengthening that and, really stepping into themselves more fully. And so I think thinking back, if I would have had this knowledge a little sooner, it would have maybe helped me to edit out the jobs that weren't going to be a good fit. Like, for example, I worked in finance for a few years and great money, but I felt like my soul was dying, right? And I was not very happy. Nope. I had an office overlooking Central Park in New York City. I was making good money and I just felt really unfulfilled. And I think, this knowledge about who I was and what I had to offer and where my strengths lie would have allowed me to see, oh, now I know why that's not a good fit and what was missing, even though on paper that seemed like, why wouldn't you be happy doing that, right?
Yeah, no, and that's the key, is we just have these experiences and they just guide us to the next one without anything else informing it. And that's why the 20s, I mean, thank goodness we have good friends, right? So we see our friends going through it too, and we can learn from where they are. But wouldn't it be amazing if you could lean in and understand yourself and get to know why you're drawn to that and decide if it would be very satisfying on multiple levels? Because the bottom line is we spend most of our lives at our jobs. And if we're unhappy there, it bleeds into everything. And if the pandemic showed us anything, it's that we really need to be engaged and able to connect to what we're doing deeply. That's what leads to a well-lived life.
Yep, I think that's well said. And so this was just a short little video to share just a snippet of why knowing your strengths can be such a powerful and valuable tool as you're guiding and navigating your career path and making big decisions about where you want to go and what's actually going to be a good fit for you. And maybe you can do it in a little bit of a quicker and more efficient, shorter time frame than we did. So good luck out there. We hope that you found this helpful or at least entertaining. So give the video a like and subscribe to the channel for more job search resources, tools, and tips to find more fulfillment in your career. So take care. Bye.